Hi, I'm Susan Lagerman, and on behalf of the board of the Arizona Trail Association, I humbly welcome each of you to our 2022 annual meeting. We plan to update you on successes and challenges, our new strategic plan to maintain and improve the trail, and also you'll hear great stories from the trail. The Arizona Trail grew out of the dream of a dedicated school teacher, Dale Showalter, into an 840-mile trail through the Arizona wilderness. It didn't just survive, it thrived. Your support has led to it earning designation as a National Scenic Trail. As caretakers of this trail, we recently adopted a new strategic plan under the leadership of Phyllis Raleigh. This plan includes removing trail from roads, rerouting around fire-damaged lands, and much more. You will hear about this plan shortly, but I'd like to acknowledge exemplary service by several members. First, 3 members are leaving the board very sadly. Number 1, Fred Gaudette is a water guru and amazing trail steward, in addition to being a thoughtful board member. When you find water after a hot day, you may be thankful to Fred. Rob Mason, he kept an eye on the bottom line while also serving as a board member, officer, trail steward. You can probably tell that Rob has a difficult time saying no to challenges. And third, Jan Hancock served as our secretary and an expert on all equestrian matters from the trail's earliest days. She is a great historian of the Arizona Trail, and we will miss her. To Fred, Rob, and Jan, you may have left the board, but we still have your contact information and don't think you won't hear from us. Second, I'd like to welcome our 2 newest board members. The dauntless Kate Boyle, a trail bike champion, businesswoman, and outdoor educator, and also Dana Ernst, an NAU professor extraordinaire with great analytical skills and enthusiasm for the trail. We look forward to having their participation on the board on behalf of the trail. Third, I'd like to thank 2 great board members who are stepping up to fill executive positions. Ambika Balasubramanian, treasurer and an amazing photographer, and also Lisa Schnebley-Heidinger, our new secretary, a wordsmith of great skill. Both have accepted tough jobs requiring many hours of work to keep our finances and records straight, which is so important now that we are a larger trail and organization. Finally, let me thank each of you for supporting the trail as members, volunteers, sponsors, donors, trail stewards, trail angels, gateway community businesses, and in many other ways. With your support, the trail truly has been a great achievement. And one last thank you, our awesome executive director, Matt Nelson, and our dedicated staff. Thank you for meeting the challenges to maintain and improve this wonderful trail during difficult times. And I now hand the meeting over to Matt.
Thank you, Susan, and thanks to all of you for joining us for the 28th annual meeting of the Arizona Trail Association. My name is Matt Nelson, and for the past decade, I've served as executive director of the ATA, but my involvement with the trail and this organization goes back much further. It is such a joy to watch how this trail has improved over time and how it continues to positively impact the lives of all who hike, run, pedal, and ride through Arizona's most breathtaking landscapes. As a member of the trail community, this meeting is for you. It's a collaborative effort among board and staff to condense some of our proudest accomplishments over the past year into a single hour. Of course, we'll only scratch the surface of what we were able to accomplish in 2021 today, but we invite you to learn more through our website, e-newsletter, and social media channels. We also invite you to get involved. This organization is stronger with your support, and people like you are what make the ATA and the AZT a national treasure. Today you'll hear about finances, trail operations, volunteerism, youth outreach and education, veterans engagement, goals for the year ahead, as well as a personal perspective on climate change impacts to the Arizona Trail from one of our board members. We'll also have a Q&A session at the end, and we invite any questions that you may have. You can type those in through Zoom using the Q&A function, or just type your questions into Facebook Live. Thanks again for joining us for the annual meeting.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Brittany Chavez, and I serve as the Development Director for the Trail. It has been a pleasure meeting and working with many of you throughout the year, and I look forward to the year to come. We're going to start off with the income generated for the Trail this year. You'll see that we once again surpassed the $1 million mark, which is phenomenal. 45% of our income continues to come from government and non-government grants. These are agencies like the U.S. Forest Service that we've worked with in the past and trust our ability to do good work along the trail, as well as non-governmental organizations that want to invest in the social programs that provide vital stewardship and educational opportunities. Next up, you're going to see that a quarter of our income is generated from you, from individual donations and memberships that provide a vital resource for the trail's income throughout the year. 16% comes from our Arizona Trail business partners, which you can find online, and other corporate donations. Please continue to support the businesses that support the Arizona Trail. 7% continues to come from our merchandise sales, which is generated right out of our office in Tucson, as well as events such as trail races. And finally, 1% comes from things like our Trail Skills Institute, which you can look up online, as well as various raffles that we run throughout the year. We'll now discuss our expense report. You'll see that by and large, trail operations has the highest amount at 44%. This is truly the backbone of our organization. It includes things like trail maintenance and restoration projects, building new single track, and other really exciting new projects you'll hear about later today. At a slight decrease from last year, our administration costs are now at 21%. This includes things like our office rental, our storage facility rental, our incredible administrative staff, our vehicle maintenance, and all of our insurance. We're really excited that our social programs have excelled this year, and the numbers reflect that. 9% now goes to our youth programs, which are Seeds of Stewardship and Gear Girls. 8% goes into fundraising and development. 5% goes into our special events, such as our trail races. 5% goes into our merchandise, which is packaging materials and things like that. We have 2 new exciting programs that were developed last year, our wildlife monitoring program at 3% and our veteran outreach program at 2%, both of which you'll hear about later today. We also believe in investing back into our gateway communities and information that supports both the communities and the trail. These communities really do their best to support the Arizona Trail and everyone who recreates on them, so we definitely believe in supporting them. And you'll also see that 1% goes back into supporting our membership. And speaking of our membership, you're going to see that our Arizona Trail membership grew to 2,222 people at the end of 2021, which is about a 3% growth throughout the year. Our member base shows representation from 118 Arizona communities, 48 states, and 8 other countries. We are thrilled with all of our members, and we encourage you to continue to chat about the trail with your family and friends, and thank you for all of the support that you've shown us this year. Thank you especially to everyone who contributed to our 2021 member survey. We were able to learn so much about your priorities and suggestions for the future of the Arizona Trail. We would highly recommend reviewing these results. You can find them online, and if you have any trouble, please reach out. We'd be happy to give you that link. Again, your membership helps support the ATA mission and provide valuable insight and direction. It also allows us to advocate for the trail on a state and federal level. So please continue to support us through your membership. Please continue to advocate for the trail on your own, and please continue to reach out with any ideas or suggestions, questions you have. We'd love to see you all out and using the trail. We are also excited to announce that there's going to be some new changes coming up with your membership resources. So look for an announcement in the next few months. We strive to steward both the trail and your donations as best as we can. There remains a number of ways to continue to support our organization through your membership, through donations, through participating in AZT in a day and volunteer activities, through remembering us in your estate plans as you leave a legacy to the trail for the future generations. I want to thank you again for everything you do to support the trail. We would not be here without you.
Hello, this is Zach McDonald, Trail Director for the Arizona Trail Association, located in Tucson, Arizona, the ancestral lands of the Tohono O'odham and Pasquayaqui. I'll be reporting on some of our accomplishments from 2021. First and foremost, I think it's critical to mention that volunteer steward assessment and maintenance occurred on all 43 passages from Mexico to Utah in 2021. Everyone pitched in to work toward recovering the trail from catastrophic fires, flooding, and intense overgrowth after record-setting summer rains throughout the state. As always, since the beginning of the Arizona Trail and the Arizona Trail Association, we couldn't do it without you. Here are some of the highlights. In the Huachuca Mountains, the southernmost mile of the AZT has been reopened, and the area at the U.S.-Mexico border is being restored around the 200 feet of border wall fencing which was built at the start of 2020. In addition, volunteers helped install this kiosk at Sunnyside Canyon to complement recent road, gate, and trailhead improvements to the northern end of Passage 1, and the first ever dedicated AZT conservation crew cleared oak overgrowth and completed general maintenance from Montezuma's Pass to Miller Peak. We completed 10.6 miles of new trail construction on the Temporal Gulch Reroute project, northeast of Highway 82 in 2021, which included 1 mile of trail built by hand across private wildlife corridors property, 6.5 miles of machine and conservation corps work, and another 3.1 miles near the wilderness boundary in some of the toughest, but also the most scenic parts of the Temporal Gulch Reroute project. The 4.5 mile trail to connect to the existing Temporal Gulch trailhead will be finished this spring, in addition to 3 miles south of Gardner Canyon. Completion of the 32-mile project to officially take the AZT off of 18.5 miles of paved and dirt roads is on track for spring 2023. In conjunction with the Passage 4 reroute project, the 4.5 mile train track trail from the new trail into Patagonia is complete as of this summer. The connector trail becomes primary access into town once the reroute is open. At Passage 5 in the Santa Rita Mountains, Conservation Corps built a stone causeway across Apache Spring Canyon, rebuilt switchbacks above the trailhead leading to the Flume Trail, and volunteers maintained badly eroded trail for about 1.5 miles south of Apache Spring Crossing. At Passage 6, Las Colinas, signs advocating responsible shooting within the AZT corridor have been installed throughout the area around Barrel Canyon and Rosemont Junction, with help from ATA staff working in conjunction with the Nogales Ranger District, Coronado National Forest, and Student Conservation Association for installation. Our hope is this will increase safety of trail users and other forest visitors within a popular target shooting area and within the corridor of the AZT. The response has been overwhelmingly positive from all involved. Extensive damage occurred during 2021 monsoon to the trail leading in and out of Davidson Canyon at Passage 7, Las Ciénegas. Arizona Trail vets, in coordination with ATA staff and volunteers, spent 2 days completing rehab at the south and north slopes to reestablish the trail tread, remove overgrowth, and repair the drainage. In addition, we added a cache box at Gabe Zimmerman Trailhead and a steel navigational sign at the junction of Cienega Creek and the AZT just before monsoon. With gratitude to the Santa Catalina District, Coronado National Forest, and Conservation Corps crews, we were able to quickly complete 2.5 miles of general maintenance and deadfall clearing between Hutch's Pool and Romero Pass to open Passage 11 soon after the Big Horn Fire of 2020. Most of the Wilderness Bypass has also been rehabbed and reopened, with the exception of Crystal Spring Trail, which is coming soon. Volunteers removed or replaced more than 50 fiberglass signposts with permanent steel signage at Passage 14 in the Black Hills and at Passage 15, the Tortilla Mountains. If you've ever been to the area, you know this is no small feat, but hopefully this will solve navigational issues in the area for years to come. With direction and funding from BLM, ATA staff and volunteers installed pedestrian and vehicle gates at 3 locations along Passage 16 at the Gila River Canyons to block unauthorized ATV use of the trail. While we were there, we installed the low point marker for the AZT near Cochrane at 1,646 feet. We provided recommendation for repair of damage to the trail as a result of the Telegraph fire. Staff, stewards, and volunteers completed a full assessment by bike of non-wilderness passages 17 and 16 on a coolish day during the monsoons. ATA has since received approval and funding to complete this work south of Picket Post Trailhead, Work has begun to rebuild the trail throughout. A route to bypass the infamous Big Dip at Passage 19 in the Superstition Wilderness was scouted this year. This has been reported consistently by thru hikers and equestrians as the worst place on the AZT. We're looking forward to bringing this project to fruition in the coming years. A multi-year project on the Tonto National Forest in conjunction with the ATA and Pine Trails Initiative to improve the Highline Trail from end to end has begun. This will include maintenance and realignments to fix the worst spots of 13 miles of Passage 26. We completed route finding on the East Clear Creek crossing of the Blue Ridge Passage 27 to remove the trail from forest roads and eliminate some of the steepest segments of trail coming up to the rim. A little further north, route finding on the Anderson Mesa reroute at Passage 30 to remove the trail from dirt roads and improve the scenic quality of the trail through this area is complete. The route follows the edge of the rim with views of Lake Mary and the San Francisco Peaks. Final layout and design is complete for 25-mile reroute at Passage 34 we are calling the Maverick Single Track Project to remove the AZT from dirt roads and to improve overall scenic quality of the trail through the landscape looking toward the Painted Desert, Grand Canyon, and the San Francisco Peaks. The last 2 miles of trail to complete the Babbitt Ranch Single Track Project, transforming Passage 35 from ranch roads to trail, were completed in December to eliminate the road walk between Cedar Ranch and Tubb Ranch. Central Arizona Backcountry Horsemen donated and helped install an AZT Supergate at Passage 37 to upgrade a dilapidated old wire gate just north of Grandview Lookout. While we were there, we installed new signage at the bike bypass south of Grandview as well. Volunteers removed approximately 20 large deadfall and installed 10 steel AZT emblem signs to replace deteriorating fiberglass signs on the passage at the annual North Rim Work event at Passage 39. We also installed 10 steel AZT emblem signs to replace deteriorating fiberglass signs on the passage at the annual North Rim Work event. And volunteers removed the Supergate, which has been buried in the storm debris the year before at Passage 40 on the Kaibab Plateau. We also moved a steel AZT emblem sign, installed a 3-panel kiosk and water cache box at Telephone Hill Trailhead, and installed a cache box at FR 610 just north of the park. ATA and Forest Service staff finalized the 1.5-mile Orderville reroute proposal to remove the AZT from a dirt road south of Orderville Trailhead at Passage 41 and finalized the 3-mile Mangum reroute proposal at Passage 42 to repair damage and replace badly eroded trail after the Mangum fire of 2020. Volunteers also installed a cache box near the AZT Navajo Trail Junction. In addition, the Arizona Trail Association met with BLM staff to discuss Pine Hollow fire restoration plans at Passage 43, Buckskin Mountain, to include mastication of burnt juniper and reseeding in the area. The Arizona Trail Association requested a half-mile buffer to the AZT and for the work not to cross the trail with heavy machinery. We also reworked parking at the northern terminus to protect the monument and provide a buffer for trail users. The ATA and BLM are working together to rebuild the last half-mile of trail near the northern terminus, which was decimated by monsoon flooding after the fire. To wrap it all up, here are some statistics for the year. We installed 7 kiosks, more than 30 emblem signs, 12 wooden signs at wilderness portals, trailheads, and junctions, 6 cache boxes, including 4 at the North Kaibab and 2 on the Coronado National Forest. We installed 8 steel gates to replace old wire gates, 5 raised cattle guard style rollover gates, 3 OHV gates at the Gila River Passage 16, and completed more than 6 scout events. In addition to all of this, we collectively maintained hundreds of miles of trail and completed more than 15 miles of new trail construction to remove the trail from roads in support of the National Trail System Act to improve connectivity and safety for all trail users. Thanks to all of you, we can get this important work done to preserve, protect, and enhance the Arizona National Scenic Trail. We look forward to seeing you all on the trail in 2022 and beyond. Thanks very much. See you soon.
Hi everyone, I'm Wendy Lotes, the Volunteer Program Manager here at the Arizona Trail Association. As Zach mentioned at the start of his presentation, the only way that anyone can keep an 800-mile strip of dirt open, safe, and navigable is with the dedication and energy of an army, and for us that means an army of volunteers. The inevitable march of time, the fury of nature, and the threats of global climate change are constantly trying to reclaim our corridor, taking it back to the desert, grasslands, and forests from which it came. But our volunteer stewards and trail crews don't surrender. They show up, dig in, and fight back. It's not a war that you win, though. It's a dance that you join. And I'm as grateful as I've ever been to be in this overgrown, thorny, and rocky ballroom with the rest of you. As pandemic restrictions and fears continued to constrict our society at home, out on the trail, our community continued to grow. With increased interest in outdoor recreation and trails, we saw sustained growth in the interest in volunteering. The addition of our 2 field coordinators, Tasha Pontifex in southern Arizona and Judy Tincher in the north, we were able to not only increase our group sizes at events, but also offer more opportunities for volunteers to get out and give back. In 2021, the ATA hosted over 50 public volunteer work events, and that doesn't even include the independent work activities of our segment stewards or our VETS program or Seeds of Stewardship service activities. Reported hours for volunteers came in at just over 20,000 hours, with a total financial value of more than $550,000. That's up 20% from 2020. We also continue to see increased engagement from a younger, more diverse community, and in 2022 we'll continue our efforts to make the trail more welcoming to underrepresented populations. Our public land should be a place of joy and revitalization to everyone, and the satisfaction and peace that comes from working with the land should not be a unique opportunity. Our 150 segment stewards continue to be the backbone of our volunteer program. Segment stewards do more than adopt a stretch of the Arizona Trail. They serve as our ambassadors, form the most dependable part of our volunteer corps, and they're our eyes and ears in the larger trail community. Many stewards are also trail angels. They support our efforts on social media, promote the trail in their own communities, and support the ATA through business partnerships. In the coming year, we seek to offer even more support to our stewards to help reinforce and expand this program, offer a wider range of training opportunities, and welcome new stewards to the family. Our Trail Skills Institute offered 9 sessions of hands-on training in basic skills, layout, construction, and mitigation, with 80 volunteers participating in the courses across the state. We're pleased to continue this program in the new year, and highly coveted spots are still available in all of our modules. Not only do these courses teach about hydrology and tool safety, they also strengthen bonds between volunteers, expanding our collective resources and building friendships across geographic boundaries. It isn't just the learning that's fun, it's the people you get dirty with. Last year, I introduced our new Video Trail Skills series, and in June of 2021, we published all 8 videos along with corresponding materials to complete a Video Trail Skills Certificate program. A partnership with AZCC, ACE, and Outdoor Evolution Media, these 3 to 5 minute mini courses were filmed across the state, at times in extremes of heat and other times under a dusting of snow, and they offer an introduction to basic skills needed to maintain the AZT in a variety of environments and situations. The series is presented on both the ATA website and on our YouTube channel. It's accessible to everyone regardless of their schedule, budget, or location. This accessibility is key to reaching new populations of trail users and potential volunteers for years to come. If you're a trail volunteer or interested in finding out what happens at the events I'm talking about here, just take a few minutes and check them out. It'll be fun. There's one group within the trail community that we don't talk about much at these meetings, and that's our trail angels. As the popularity of the AZT experience expands amongst hikers, bikers, and equestrians, so does the larger desire to connect with this community. These benefactors are the source of trail magic, and though it can greatly enhance one's experience on the trail, it also comes with the risk of damaging the natural environment that we've worked so hard to protect. Because we all love magic, and we also want to see our wild places stay wild, We worked with Arizona's Leave No Trace advocate Beth Coiney and OE Media and developed a quick video on some best practices for trail angels and users alike. I'm going to share it with you now. So I want to thank you for taking a few minutes out of this beautiful day to spend with us, and thank you for supporting the ATA. It's an honor to work for you all. Enjoy.
It's like a lot of things in life. You go, well, I'm benefiting from using this resource. So how can I give back to the resource? And how can I help it be here for my grandchildren and their grandchildren? Because I feel really proud that I'm from Arizona and we have a completed National Scenic Trail. And the more we use it and the more involved we are with it, the more we understand what it takes to have such a wonderful treasure in our state.
So Trail Angels are these wonderful people who donate their time, energy, and effort to come out and enhance the experience of the thru hikers. Trail Angels enjoy interacting with hikers on the trail, and one of the things that's important in that interaction is bringing that magical spark to the trail. So Trail Angels enjoy providing hikers with something that they wouldn't normally have access to on their hike. Might actually be some fresh, clean water. It might be some food that they haven't been eating for 5 days already on the trail. It might just be the opportunity to talk to somebody. So Trail Angels are great at creating this moment of inspiration for a thru hiker to be able to keep going on their hike, or to have something that was extraordinary or unexpected on their hike.
We ran into a kid on the trail and he's going, yeah, my shoes fell apart. I have to get into Payson and get some new shoes. And he says, is there a trailhead here someplace I can get a ride? And we said, come on, we're going that way.
We're heading that way. We'll take you.
We'll take you.
We've done quite a bit of that. That's kind of cool. You meet some very interesting people, and it's a great part of the experience.
On the Arizona Trail, water resources are limited, so thru hikers, section hikers, and day hikers need to think carefully before they head out on the trail. Resupply boxes are stocked by Trail Angels, but it's really important for Trail Angels to practice Leave No Trace principles when they're on the trail. Leave No Trace is about responsible outdoor recreation. It's a set of principles that teaches you how to interact with the outdoor environment and leave it as you found it, or even better than you found it. When you visit the Arizona Trail and you want to help hikers, please leave gallon jugs of water in the supplied resupply boxes or bear boxes made available by the Arizona Trail Association. It's safer for the hikers because the gallon jug is not exposed to the sun, and it protects wildlife because they're not trying to access the jugs, which are closed on the trail. They can also make sure that they carry away any empty bottles so that there's no trash left on the trail. It's really important that plastic, when it breaks down into microplastics, and it never disappears from our trail.
It takes an incredible amount of resources, time, and people to keep that thing open and improving, a constant process of improvement. It's never done. It's always changing. That association is always looking to make it better. And that's awesome to me. That's just, to be part of something like that is just cool.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here at the annual meeting. I am so grateful to be here talking to all of you virtually. My name is Trevin Hooker. I'm the Youth Outreach and Education Coordinator for Southern Arizona for the Arizona Trail Association. I want to tell you a little bit about Seeds of Stewardship, if you don't mind. Seeds of Stewardship has 2 full-time coordinators based in Tucson and Flagstaff. That's me and Julie Polovich. And we use a 3-tiered model of experience, education, and stewardship to get more youth on the Arizona Trail to experience the wonders of nature in their own backyards. We work with teachers to bring their curricula out onto the trail, and then give youth the opportunities to give back through trail maintenance, invasive species removal, trash removal, and other stewardship activities. As a part of our commitment to equity, the Arizona Trail Association provides all the resources necessary to make these experiences available at no cost to participants, parents, and the schools we work with. Thanks to all the members, donors, grantors, and supporters of the Arizona Trail Association. Your support allows us to provide meaningful outdoor experience at no cost to youth throughout Arizona, inspiring them to be the next generation of stewards on the Arizona Trail. In 2021, we organized 200 outings for 537 youth. We hiked a total of 2,200 cumulative miles and maintained 63.2 cumulative miles of the Arizona Trail. We are excited to continue to grow this program in the years ahead and believe that investing in youth is vital to the long-term sustainability of the Arizona Trail Association. In addition to our success of Seeds of Stewardship, we have our Youth Ambassador program in Southern Arizona and the Gear Girls program in Flagstaff. The Youth Ambassador program was featured during last year's annual meeting, and you can find that video on our YouTube channel. For this year's annual meeting, our friends at Outdoor Evolution Media put together this video highlighting Gear Girls. I hope you enjoy. Thanks.
Gear Girls is a all-girls mountain biking, snow sports, and trail work program for girls in 4th to 8th grade. We incorporate outdoor lessons into everything we do, such as leave no trace, shelter building, how to purify water, you name it.
I think Gear Girls is amazing because it gives girls a chance to really develop outdoor skills and confidence. The coaches really help develop an environment where people feel safe to express themselves and try new things without feeling like they're going to be judged if they mess up.
You show up how you are, who you are, and you're just immediately welcomed into the space. Doesn't matter how good you are at whatever sport we're doing, how fast you are, or how much experience you have, you're just there to have fun and connect with one another, and yeah, everyone's just really supportive.
The fact that Gear Girls provides mountain bikes for kids that don't have any bikes, or all the skis and equipment and everything, it's free for anyone to participate, is a huge help in bringing in more people into the community and more girls to get these experiences that wouldn't otherwise be able to get these sorts of experiences.
Gear Girls makes me feel welcome because when you're joining Gear Girls for the first time, everybody welcomes you in. They aren't pushing you away, having their own group. I've done other groups and they just all hang out in one group and I'm all by myself somewhere else. But this group all brings everybody together. We all do a bunch of group activities and I've gotten a lot of friends out of it.
My oldest, I was really surprised. She came back from the first trail building day and she just was filthy head to toe, and the smile was as big as I've ever seen it. She just had a blast.
Each season we spend at least 40 hours together outside. And just having fun in that time and learning how to recreate in different ways, girls are developing really strong relationships with our trails and public lands. And that's really the basis, the core of stewardship. If you love a place, you're going to want to care for it and give back to it, and you're really going to be invested in the long-term well-being of that place.
Gear Girls has taught me how to be kind on the trails and kind to others. How to keep the trail clean, how to make sure that you're not having a negative impact on the environment while you're hiking or biking or skiing.
My oldest daughter did a presentation on climate change and volunteered for a couple other trail building activities after doing trail building with Gear Girls. And, I think she just liked the opportunity to give back and feel like she was doing something.
I guess you can remember, if you're an outdoorsy person, when you were first getting involved and how much that impacted your own life being outside and having fun outside. And so to be able to give that experience to other people is really meaningful, and it ends up making our trails and our environment a better place too.
1, 2, 3, Gear Girls!
The AZT Vets program is designed to create meaningful opportunities on and off the trail for military veterans. Our mission is to connect those who have served our country with fellow service members and the Arizona National Scenic Trail. Our motto is, we build, we protect.
My name's Colin Nolan. I served in the United States Marine Corps from 2012 to 2016. The Arizona Trail Vets program is a great way for veterans to work on the trail. Not only is it about coming together to work on nature and provide a service to the community, but it's a great way for us to come together and really be a community of veterans together. Every time we come together, someone new joins us. It's a great social community. It kind of brings me back a little bit to my early training days being in the military, where you're kind of working as a unit and everyone is sort of focused on their task at hand and everyone works together really well. For me, it's a way to get away from everything and a great way to relieve stress and give back to the community also. I tend to kind of lose myself a little bit whenever I'm out here working, whether it's something simple like a half-day event where we show up and just trim some trails really quick, or if it's a week-long backpacking trip carrying a pick over Montezuma Pass or something like that. I think it's a really great way to get your mind off of the really busy day-to-day tasks, you know, the grind, if you will. It's a great way to break that cycle, and it's a really great therapy session. It's not just, you know, physical labor, it's a labor of love.
Awesome job, guys.
My name is Mark Flint, and I am a Navy veteran, served in the late 1960s, early 1970s, was a photojournalist serving in Vietnam. There's the larger trails community, which is just amazing, and it has a lot of diversity. And then on top of that, when you break it down into the veteran program, you have all of that plus the benefit of being a little more relaxed and able to pretty much speak what's on your mind. As veterans, we go through a lot of similar experiences, especially in terms of serving in a war zone. Some of those experiences are pretty difficult to go through, and it's really good to be able to talk about them with people who have gone through them. It just removes a lot of barriers. Having that shared experience makes it a lot easier to be around veterans as a group. Nature is a healing force, and it heals us physically in terms of the exercise. Emotionally, it's been shown to help with anxiety and depression. And I've found being in nature, having grown up on a cattle ranch, to be something I just need and have to have. Trails, you know, have those benefits of being good for your physical, emotional, spiritual health. They're good for communities in terms of bringing in tourist dollars and businesses locating because they want that amenity for their employees. And working on trails is itself a rewarding experience. We have a lot of people who come back to do more of it because they get so much out of it. My favorite memory is it's a collective one of nights around the campfire talking and just getting to know each other and forging those bonds and just feeling better as a result of that and knowing that they feel better as a result of it too. When I volunteered to be with the veteran program, I really had high expectations and exceeded those, and I just look forward to every veteran event. It's my most fun part of being involved in trails now.
My name is Michael Chappelle. On the trail I go by Chappie. I was in the United States Navy from 1999 to 2004, attached to F-14 and F-18 squadrons on board the USS Constellation. I was a part of the second incursion into Iraq, or what's commonly referred to as Operation Iraqi Freedom, or OIF. There's no real care after you're out of the service in terms of connection, but there's a way for us to combine the therapeutic aspects of nature with a kinship that we have with one another just because of our service in the military. When you're out with your fellow brothers and sisters that you've served with, there's no filter. We don't necessarily need to ask permission to speak our minds. It's a lot more free form when we're around one another. When you go through something together, on or off the trail, it seems to resonate as we talk about our past experiences. Being in nature is healing. Being around other people, community that also shares that same affinity for our natural spaces, I connect with. It's healing, bottom line.
Hi, my name's Kate Boyle. I'm a professional ultra-endurance mountain biker, world champion, bike packer, trails advocate, and co-founder of Bikepacking Roots. I lived in Arizona from 2007 to 2018 while attending and teaching at Prescott College. During that time, I fell in love with the Arizona landscape and the Arizona Trail. Many people hold places as symbols of significant moments or chapters in their life. For me, Picket Post is one of those places. Picket Post marked the beginning of my bikepacking career when I rode through there on my first single track bikepacking trip in 2011 on my steel single speed. In 2015, I won my first ultra endurance bikepacking race, being the first woman to finish at Picket Post, racing 300 miles from Parker Canyon Lake. And then in 2018, I had the strongest race of my life, still to this day, when I arrived at Picket Post, with the 4th fastest time ever by anyone, setting a new women's record by 11 hours, riding from Parker Canyon Lake to Picket Post in 51 hours. Some of these rides, plus rides with friends, personal solo rides, and walking and hiking on the trail, have all anchored me and my life story to this place and shown me what I'm capable of and connected me to the Arizona landscape. So in June, when the Telegraph Fire tore across the southern Arizona landscape, its cause, impact, and destruction broke my heart. The wildfire, which investigations revealed was most likely caused by Arizona Air National Guard fighter jets, engulfed 180,757 acres of the Sonoran Desert, threatening the towns of Superior and Globe and burning 18 miles of the AZT and the iconic Picket Post Mountain. Fire and drought are naturally occurring in the American Southwest, but climate researchers have identified that over the past 50 years, temperatures have risen at a rate parallel to the global temperature rise, while precipitation amounts have lowered. In contrast to prior, shorter periods of warming in the climate history of the Southwest, the warming that the region experienced during the past 50 years is presenting as warmer springs and earlier high summer temperatures with longer periods of drought between precipitation events. Joel Biederman, who works as a research hydrologist for the USDA's Southwest Watershed Research Center in Tucson and is a fan of the AZT, told me that the greatest changes in drought length have taken place in the desert Southwest. The average dry period between storms in the 1970s was 30 days, and now that has grown to about 45 days. As droughts worsen and fire season extends in duration and intensity, land managers in the Southwest face immense challenges for how to best manage wildfire season to mitigate risk to communities across the state, protect watersheds, prevent flooding, promote clean air, and preserve wildlife habitat. The increasingly common approach for land managers to enact blanket closures of national forests, restricting all access to those public lands to prevent catastrophic wildfires during peak season. As the Telegraph Fire raged on in June 2021, just this last summer, 4 of Arizona's 5 national forests closed, and most state lands closed as well. When the fire was at its worst, 60% of the AZT shut down, which I'm sure many of you experienced the impacts of. The impacts of these fires on trails are immeasurable. Destabilization of soils and increased erosion following storms are common. Fires also burn old-growth vegetation that keep invasive grasses and shrubs at bay. These invasive grasses and shrubs are then the first to take hold of the burned soil and quickly blanket the landscape with plants that are more prone to spreading fire than native vegetation, thus creating a vicious cycle. Burned trees fall by the thousands across trails, creating deadfall, hazardous and arduous expensive maintenance for trail organizations such as the ATA, and scars across the landscape eliminate shade for recreationalists and vital habitat for species. Here you can see invasive grasses growing in the picket post area this fall, just about 5 months after the Telegraph fire, and burned signposts and trees along a section of trail after one of the fires from the summer before, and erosion that has resulted from the flooding that has interspersed these fires. This past fall, I returned to the Arizona Trail 300 race after a number of years of being away. This year, it followed the summer's historic monsoon. I ended up scratching after suffering from an allergic reaction to the pigweed that invaded the trail following the summer's monsoon. I also ran out of water, which was mostly poor planning, but ended up in a situation where I had to drink this horrific green tank water, which further highlighted the challenge of water resources in a warming climate and drying climate. In all, what I found while I was riding was that I was amazed by the impacts of fire, drought, and a changing climate on the trail, and that was far more concerning and captivating than my motivation to race as hard as I could. After I shared my story of battling overgrowth during the race with Matt, he shared that the ATA will invest $1 million worth of resources into the Arizona Trail this year, including cash and volunteer labor. These resources include efforts to combat the impacts of climate change and steward the trail and landscape for a changing climate. These climate efforts include installing remote rainwater collectors to create sustainable and reliable water sources for wildlife and trail users, as you can see with the photo on the right, installing bear boxes at trailheads and access points to be used as water cache locations, which I can personally say have become critical resources for being able to do a long through ride on the trail, as seen on the upper left, designing new segments of trail with climate change in mind, which will hopefully result in trails not eroding like the photo in center left, building trail to withstand erosion and dedicate trail restoration efforts post-fire and flooding, collaborating with the U.S. Forest Service and Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management in wildfire mitigation efforts, reducing the ATA's carbon footprint as an organization through thoughtful decision-making about their consumption, waste, use of fossil fuels, and employing minimal use practices, and supporting legislation to fight climate change for the long-term benefit of the trail and its associated resources. The ATA's significant local investment highlights a broader truth about climate change for me. On-the-ground community leaders are critical to the future of trails and the landscapes that provide clean air, clean water, and robust recreation economies. Without groups stewarding trails and without an abundance of financial support for these groups, we will lose trails to climate change. In Arizona, this truth has been made painfully obvious during the past year or two. After personally experiencing the impacts of drought, historic storms, and devastating wildfire, I'm taking a break from racing on the AZT. I still find the trail inspiring and fun to ride, and I can't wait to ride it again this spring when I come back to Arizona. But rather than race on it, I'm redirecting my energy and passion for the AZT to advocating for its health and future. And that's where you can help. A recent survey of Arizona Trail Association members, you all, identified the biggest threats to the trail as wildfires, drought, and climate change. Currently, Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema is one of 2 U.S. senators blocking the Build Back Better Act in a way that will result in climate provisions that are just not sufficient for making the level of difference that is needed to curb the U.S.'s contribution to global emissions and the global impacts of climate change. As Arizonans or ATA members, please write or call your elected officials personally to state your desire to see definitive and assertive climate action. If you are a constituent of Kyrsten Sinema, please urge her to take her opportunity to make a difference in the future of this planet, the Arizona landscape, and the Arizona Trail. I'm ending with a couple of resources for you to learn how to get in touch with your elected officials for Kyrsten Sinema's contact information, and this top link is to the just released this week Advocacy Toolbox that we made at Bikepacking Routes, where you can get tips for calling and writing, reaching out to your elected officials. Thank you.
Well, 2022 is already off to a really exciting start, and this year we're going to remain true to our mission to protect, maintain, enhance, promote, and sustain the Arizona Trail as a unique encounter with the land. We'll focus on many of the reroute projects that you heard about today and our continued commitment to remove the Arizona Trail from roadways. With your support, we'll also invest more resources in water source protection, enhancement, and development. This includes the restoration of springs, as well as the construction of a new remote rainwater collector. We're also excited to develop more trailhead signs, complete with cultural, biological, botanical, and historical information to help people connect with natural and cultural resources in meaningful ways when they're on the Arizona Trail. Just wait until you see the new signs that we developed in collaboration with the Tohono O'odham Nation and the Coronado National Forest. Thanks to financial support from the Governor's Office and the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management, we'll continue repairing segments of the AZT impacted by wildfires and post-fire flooding. Seeing continued and increased support from the state of Arizona for the State Scenic Trail is really inspiring. And this year, this session, House Speaker Rusty Bowers will introduce new legislation to secure long-term funding for the Arizona Trail. So if you live in the state of Arizona, please reach out to your state representatives this month and let them know how much the Arizona Trail means to you and ask them to support the Arizona Trail State Fund. Later this year, we'll ask you to comment on the Arizona Trail's comprehensive plan. The U.S. Forest Service has been working on this plan for the past decade, and it will be released this year. This will be the guiding management document into the future and will provide an important layer of protection that Congress intended when the Arizona Trail was designated a National Scenic Trail in 2009. We want to make sure this plan represents your interests, so please make time to review it and provide your comments to the Forest Service. And speaking of the Forest Service, I'd like to welcome Marcy DeMillion as the Forest Service new Arizona Trail Liaison. Marcy comes with decades of experience working for a variety of federal land management agencies, and she was instrumental in the development of the Arizona Trail during its earliest days. We're really excited to have her as our primary partner and look forward to supporting Marcy and her team as they roll out the comprehensive plan. Remember, the Arizona Trail is your trail. And all of us at the Arizona Trail Association are so grateful to have an opportunity to play a role as stewards of the trail as well as the landscapes that it traverses. But we couldn't do any of it without your support. So I sincerely hope that in 2022, you'll make time to get out and enjoy the trail, find some peace in nature, and then take time to give back, whether that's through volunteerism, donations, or including the ATA in your legacy planning. You are what make the Arizona Trail so special. And I know I speak on behalf of the entire staff and board when I say that we're really grateful to have you part of the Arizona Trail family. We're excited about the future of the Arizona Trail, and we appreciate you joining us for the 28th annual meeting. Even though it's virtual, we look forward to seeing you again in person, hopefully out on the trail this year. This concludes our annual meeting, and now we invite you to ask any specific questions through our Q&A session. Whether you're joining on Zoom or Facebook Live, just type in your questions, and a variety of staff will make an attempt to answer as many questions as we can over the next 10 minutes or so. Thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you out on the Arizona Trail.